That you're well. I hope that you're well and that everybody had an amazing day. All right, so before we start with today's lesson, we are before we go to today's lesson, you're going to log into the aplusstudents.ca. All right, so once you've logged into the aplusstudents.ca, and then you're going to log in with your username as well as with your password. Right, so once you've logged in with your username as well as your password, then you are going to select and click on language arts. All right, so once you've selected language arts, then we are going to select grade 1 because that is the grade that we are teaching today. All right, so in today's chapter that we will be focusing on are nouns. So you're going to scroll down until you get to nouns, which is the fourth chapter on our list. So we'll click on nouns. All right, so the chapter that we're focusing on are nouns, and the lessons that we will be doing today is complete the sentence with a noun to match the picture and identify nouns in a sentence, right? So we're going to complete the sentence with a noun to match the picture and identify nouns in a sentence. All right, so let's go to the first lesson, which is complete the sentence with a noun to match the picture. All right, so before we go to the picture, right, as well as the sentence, we are first going to find out what a noun is, right? So a noun, if we go to our whiteboard, right, a noun is it names a person, it names a place, an animal, or a thing, right? So the question is, what is a noun, right? And a noun, it names a person, it names a place, it names an animal, or it names a thing, right? So instead of, like, for example, if it names a person, instead of you calling the person's name, for example, Jane, right? You can maybe just say, you can even say she, her, you can refer to her, you can say mom, dad, right? Those are all people or person that you are basically naming, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be the person's name. The same with the places, right? It doesn't have to specifically, you don't have to specifically name a town or state or country, right? But you can maybe name places like the beach or the airport or my house um, or school, right? Those are places, right, that you are naming. And then you also have the same thing with animals, naming a certain animal, a dog, cat, horse, whatever, and then also things, right? Like your ball, tables, chairs, those are all things, right? So even if we look at this picture over here, these are just basically a picture that gives us an example of each one. So a noun, it names a place, like for example, the school. A person can be girl, boy, Sarah, Ben, whoever. A thing can maybe be a ball, chair, pencil, and an animal, right? Either dog, cat, whichever pet that you have, right? So that is a noun. All right, so if we now go back to the tutorial, right? If we go back to the tutorial, it says that we need to complete the sentence with a noun to match the picture, right? So if we look at this picture, they're saying the what has a ball, right? Remember, we said a noun, it names a person, a place, an animal, or a thing, right? So what has a ball over here? So definitely this is an animal, right? That has a ball. But which animal has the ball, right? So we need to basically say which animal. So you can name the animal, right? That has a ball. All right. So if we look at that animal, right, then we can then say it is a dog, right? So this dog has a ball. All right. So the dog has a ball, right? Because that is the animal, or basically in the picture that we can see, who has a ball, right? So then we can say, let me write it for you. So the dog, so this is a dog, it has the ball. All right, so that is just a few explanations. So over here, the dog has a ball. There we have it. The dog has a ball. And that is basically our noun. And then it names, and the dog, it names an animal, right? So the dog is an animal, right? So that is a noun that names an animal. All right, so once again, right, we said that a noun, it names a person, an animal, a place, or a thing, right? So if we look at a few examples, right? If we look at a few examples of the different nouns that we have, right? So we said that it names a person, an animal, a place, or a thing, right? So some nouns name a person, and a person, like I mentioned earlier on, can either be a girl or it can be a boy, can be uncle, can be dad, can be mom, can be grandma, can be sister, right? Those are all naming people or a person, right? Then we also have nouns that name an animal, right? And there we have an example. If we look at that one picture, we have an example of a duck. Look at the other picture, we have an example of a cat, right? So it names animals, right? And even more animals that we can think of are dogs, cats, lions, fish, shark, right? Monkeys, hippo, any animal, it names the animal, right? It doesn't necessarily say which specific animal. And then some nouns name a place, right? And if we look at that picture, right, this place has a bench with nice trees, um, green grass, right? Which means that this is a park. So it can be a place like a park or a zoo or your house or the airport, or it can be your school, right? So these are but a few examples of nouns that either names a person, animal, or it names a thing, right? And in our first example, or our first picture, right, it asks us the question of, or let's say the sentence of, the what has a ball, right? And then we mentioned that this is a dog, right? And it names an animal, right? So some nouns, it also names a thing, and it can be a hat, can be a train, can be a ball, can be a table, can be a pencil, pen, right? Those are things that the nouns name, right? So within our lesson today, right, in the first lesson, we are going to complete the sentences with a noun to match the different pictures, right? All right. So if we look at the next picture, right, it's a little girl and she has something in front of her. And the question says, the girl has a what? What does the girl have? So the girl has a what? What does the girl have? All right, so if we maybe say that the girl has cake, right? Whatever you feel like the girl has in front of her, but maybe the girl has cake, right? So that can be like something. This is a thing, right? It names a thing that the girl has, right? Or we can even say she's got a fork. We don't know whichever one they necessarily refer to, right? Because both of them are things, right? So if we look at the answer, right, it says the girl has a cake, right, which was our initial answer. So if you say that the girl has cake, then beautiful, right? So the girl has cake, and the cake names a thing that the girl has, right? And just to recap, a noun, it names a person, it names a place, it names an animal, or it names a thing. And in this case, cake basically refers to things, right? That it has or it names, right? All right, if we look at the next picture, right? The man has a what? What does this man have in his hand, right? To show direction. He needs to get from one place to the other. So he has a what in his hand? So this man has a what in his hand? All right, so if we look at what this guy specifically has in his hand, then we can then say that the man has a map, right? And this map shows direction, right? Because he wants to get from one place to the other, right? And that also refers to a thing that he has in his hand. So the man has a map, right? So a map, it is a thing. So that now names a thing that he has in his hand. All right, let's look at the next picture. It says, the fox has a what? What does the fox have? The fox has a. What does the fox have in his hand? We can say it's a bag. We can say it's a plastic bag. We can say it's a carry bag. We can say it's a handbag, right? Because that is something that the fox have in his hand, right? So of course the fox is also a noun. However, they want to know what specifically he has, which is this little item that I circled. All right, so we mentioned that it is a bag, right? So yes, so bag is also a noun and it names a thing, right? So the fox has a bag and the bag is a noun that names a thing. All right, the next one. The what runs? Who is running? The what runs? All right, so we need to say what runs. The what runs. So we can either say the man runs, names a person, can say the boy runs, right? Because it's a male figure, right? So it's either man or it's boy, the uncle runs, right? So this question, right, it refers to a noun naming a person, right? So if we go down, it says the man runs, right? So man, it names a person. So it's a noun that names a person, right? So this now names a person, and it basically, instead of saying the name of the man, it just says that the man runs, right? Because it is naming a general thing, right? Or general person, right? So instead of specifying the name of the person, we can then just say the man runs. All right, so the next one, if you look at the picture, the cat has a what? What does the cat have in his hand, right? What is he playing with? The cat has a. All right, so we need to identify this little thingy that the cat has in his hand, right? So we can maybe say it's a ball, right? Because it's round, the red ball or something that the cat have in his hand, right? So we can then maybe go and say that the cat has a ball, right? But clearly the cat has a thing in his hand, right? So the cat has a ball, right? It's a ball, and the ball names a thing. So this is a noun that names a thing, right? So this is a noun that names a thing. So a ball is a thing. It's a noun that names a thing. All right. So those are but a few nouns that we just made mention of, and we had to match the picture with the correct sentence, right? And we had to look at the picture and answer the question by adding the correct noun, right? And we said the noun, it names a person, an animal, a place, or it even names a thing, right? So now if we look at the picture over here, right? I'm going to do this. All right, so if you look at this picture in front of you, it says look at the picture and write the noun words into the correct categories, right? So they are here we have person, we have things, we have places, and we have animals. So we need to choose the one of the correct pictures, or we need to choose from the correct pictures or words, and then we need to write it under either a person, things, places, animals, right? So if we look at the first picture, a doctor, a doctor, is that a noun that names a person, a noun that names a thing, or does it name places or animals? A doctor. We need to say if a doctor is a person, thing, animal, or places. All right, so we are going to say that the doctor is a person. So we're going to write doctor under person, right? The singer, is the singer a person? Is the singer a thing? Is the singer a place? Or is the singer an animal? Right? A singer. A singer is someone that sings, right? Which means that it is a person. So we're gonna put over here singer. The beach. Beach. Is beach a person? Is beach a thing, a place, or an animal? I am going to the beach, or my family and I are going to the beach. We need to write it under the correct noun category. All right, so beach is a place, right? Beach. The table. Is table a person, a thing, a place, or an animal? Table, right? Table. So table is a thing, right? So we're going to put table under things. Bowl, the bowl, right? A noun, bowl. Is a bowl a person? Is it a thing? Is it a place? Or is it an animal, right? The bowl. All right, so ball is a thing that you play with, right? A monkey. The monkey. Is the monkey a person? Is it a thing? Is it a place? Or is it an animal, right? So a monkey is an animal. So we're going to put monkey under animals. The cat, right? So a cat is also an animal, right? The airport. Oh, the airport, right? Is the airport a person, a thing, a place, or an animal? So we can then clearly say that the airport is a place, right? I am going to the airport, right? Airport, it's a place that you're going to. Books. Books, it refers to things, right? So books are things. Then we have farm, which is a place, horse, which is an animal, and the teacher is a person, right? So these are a few nouns, and these nouns, it names a person, it names a thing, it names places as well as animals, and we basically just took the noun words and we put it under the categories of a person, a thing, a place, or an animal. You see, even with places, instead of us mentioning your town, mentioning your road, mentioning wherever, we just specifically then said it is either the beach or airport, right? Or the farm, or it can be a house or school, right? The same with animals. Any animals that we identified. Things are like tables, balls, books, pencils, pen, right? And person can be a doctor. Instead of saying doctor someone, right? We can just say doctor. Instead of saying miss whoever as the teacher, we can just say teacher. Instead of mentioning Mariah Carey or one of the singers, right? We can then just say the singer, right? So these are nouns, right? And what we did was we just identified the nouns based on the picture as well as the words, and we put it under the correct category of persons, things, places, as well as animals. All right. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our tutorial and we are going to do a test on completing the sentence with a noun to match a picture, right? And on our tutorial page, we basically looked at the specific pictures and we completed the sentences and we filled in or we matched the picture that we saw in front of us with the correct sentence, right? So that is what we're going to do. And we did the same with when we were on our whiteboard. We looked at the different pictures and we basically categorized the pictures under nouns that names a person, place, a thing, or an animal. All right, so now we're going to begin the test. Okay, so the test says that the first one says complete the sentence to match the picture. The what plays, right? The what plays. So if we look at this picture, who is this, right? Who does it name, right? The what plays, the plays. Is it the girl plays, the bunny plays, the rock plays, or the kitchen plays? We need to say who plays, right? Because in this case, it is a noun that names a person, right? So is it a girl? Is it a bunny? Is it a rock? Or is it a kitchen that plays? All right, so we are going to choose the girl that plays. So the girl plays is correct. So if you have that, then well done. All right, so look at the next picture, right? It says the what eats. Is it the squirrel eats, the man eats, the couch eats, or the kitchen eats? So is it the squirrel eats, the man eats, the couch eats, or the kitchen eats, right? So we will then identify it as the man that eats, right? So the man eats his sandwich. So if you have that, then well done. All right, the boy has a what? He is cooling himself off after a hot day. He has a what in his hand? The boy has a, does he have a ball? Does he have a fan? Does he have a cat? Or does he have a phone? The boy has a ball, fan, cat, or phone. All right, let's do this, right? I'm going to say phone, right? So phone is incorrect, right? So what happens is that if you choose an incorrect answer, then it takes you back to our tutorial page, right? Back to the activities, and then it will basically tell you how you need to do it, right? So the correct answer is the fan, right? So the boy has a fan, right, to basically cool himself off. So the incorrect word was phone. So what it does is that it takes you back to the tutorial page and then it will basically even give you the correct answer. It will also give you once again an explanation as to what a noun is or whichever topic that you are basically busy with, right? So in this case, it names a person, animal, place, or thing that is a noun. And the boy has a fan, meaning that he has a thing in his hand, which is a fan. So just a reminder that if you do end up getting a word that's incorrect, then all you have to do is it will then basically take you back to the tutorial page and it will basically just tell you how you need to do it by giving you a description, a breakdown of what the topic is, as well as the answer. All right. The man has a what? So here's the man standing in front of his what, right? The man has, does he have a car? Does he have a bike? Does he have a horse or does he have a donkey? What does the man have? A car, a bike, a horse, or a donkey? All right, so we're going to say that the man has a car, a beautiful green Mini Cooper car. So that is cool, Rick. If you have that, then well done, right? Well done. So then you are going to complete the rest of the questions by matching the picture with its correct sentence, right? Just a reminder that if you do get a word or a sentence or an answer incorrect, it will definitely take you back to the tutorial page and they will explain how you need to do it, right? All right, so now we're going back to our lessons, right? So the lesson that we were busy with was complete the sentence with a noun to match the picture, right? The next lesson that we're going to do is to identify nouns in a sentence. All right, so just before we identify nouns within a sentence, right, just to refresh again that a noun, it names a person, it names an animal, it names a place as well as a thing, right? So those are nouns. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a person's name, right? But it can maybe refer to girl, boy, man, woman, uncle, aunt, grandma, and so on, right? An animal, right? Names an animal. any animal, right, that it will basically mention in a sentence or a picture, places, right? The park, the zoo, the airport, can even mention your house, the school, right? So these are but a few nouns of places, as well as it names a thing, right? So things like a hat, a train, a ball, a pencil, a pen, a table, chairs, right? It mentions all of those things, right? So those are nouns, right? It's naming words. All right, so now it says that we need to identify nouns within a sentence, right? The rabbit hopped away. So the rabbit hopped away. We need to find one noun within that sentence. The rabbit hopped away. Once again, a noun, it names a person, an animal, place, or a thing. All right, so then we're going to choose the correct one, which is the rabbit, right? And a rabbit, it names an animal, right? So it names an animal. So the rabbit hopped away, right? So this noun, rabbit, it names an animal, right? So if we go down to check, then it says that the noun is a rabbit and it names an animal. So if you have that, then well done. When is the circus coming? So when is the circus coming? We need to find one noun. When is the circus coming? All right, so we are going to identify the noun as circus, right? So kids want to know when is the circus coming, right? Because they are excited, right? They want to see the clowns or the animals, right? And the circus, it names a place, right? It names a place, and the noun is circus. The calf is sleeping now. The calf is sleeping now. We need to identify the noun within that sentence. The calf is sleeping now. All right, so we're going to identify the noun, which is the calf, right? And the calf, it names an animal, right? So calf is the noun that names an animal, right? So he is sleeping or it is sleeping. So the noun is calf and it names an animal, right? So if you said that, then well done, right? So far, we are able to identify nouns within a sentence, right? All right, if we go to the next one, how big is your pocket? How big is your pocket? We need to identify the noun, right? How big is your pocket? All right, so we are going to choose the noun over there, which is pocket, right? And that is basically just a thing that it mentions, right? So here it says it is a noun. The noun is pocket, and pocket it names a thing, right? So yes, your pocket, or how big is your pocket, or the pocket, it is referring to a thing. We already have the calf is sleeping. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. We need to choose the noun within that sentence. Ring the bell. All right, so if we choose the noun within that sentence, then we will say it is bell, right? And bell, it basically, oopsie, it names, oopsie, a thing. It names a thing, right? So bell, it names a thing. So bell is the noun that names a thing. And yet also says the noun is bell and it names a thing, right? So remember that a noun, it names a person, it names an animal, a place, or a thing, right? All right, so now we're going to do a little activity, right? Before we um, go on to our test, right? All right, so if you look at the picture here in front of you, let me just make it a bit bigger. All right, so it says you need to choose a noun from the box to complete the sentences below. So there are five sentences, right? And we need to choose the correct words or the correct nouns from the box to complete the sentences below, right? So the nouns within the box is chair, cup, we have leaves, we have puppy, phone, hair, t shirt, bag, pizza, fish, and plate and feet, right? So those are how many nouns? For a 12 nouns, right? And there's only five sentences. So we need to choose from the nouns within the box, right, to complete the sentences below. All right, so her what was full of food? Is it her chair was full of food? Her cup was full of food? Her leaves was full of food? Puppy, her phone, her hair, a t-shirt, her bag, her pizza, fish, plate, or feet was full of food. So what was full of food? All right, so we are then going to choose her plate, right? So we will then, okay, let's rather not, let's circle it. So plate, all right? And we are going to write the word on the line. So her plate was full of food, right? He had smelly what? What was smelly, right? He had smelly what? We need to choose the correct noun from the box to complete the sentence, right? He had smelly what? All right, so we can say that he has smelly feet, right? So he has smelly feet. So we're gonna put their feet. His what of water was full. His what of water was full. All right, so we're gonna choose his cup, right? Was full. So it's basically his cup was full of water. So we're gonna say his cup of water was full. All right, they knew what was very cute. They knew what was very cute. They have a new what? We can then say that they have a new puppy, right? And the puppy was so cute. So we're going to choose puppy. They had a cute puppy, right? She didn't want to cut her long what? What was long that she did not want to cut? So we can then identify the noun as a hair because she had long, beautiful hair and she did not want to cut her hair, right? So she didn't want to cut her long hair. So these are but a few sentences, right? And we chose the correct noun from the box to complete the sentences. So well done. All right, so now back to the tutorial we go, and now we're going to do the test, right? So we're going to test ourselves on identifying nouns within the sentences, right? So within this tutorial, we identified nouns within the sentences. We identified the noun, and we were also able to say if the noun is a person, an animal, a place, or a thing, right? And then we also identified or chose specific nouns from the box and completed it or match it with the correct sentence. So now we're going to the test, right? So begin the test. You need to find one noun. How big is your pocket? We need to find the correct noun. Is it how? Is it big? Is your, or is it pocket? We need to find the correct noun. Only one. All right, so we are going to say pocket, right? So if we say pocket, let's see, that is correct because pocket, it is a noun that names a thing, right? Look at the clown. Look at the clown. Is it look? Is it at? Is it the? Or is it clown? Look at the clown. All right, so we will choose the clown, right? So if you say clown, then well done. My cat is sleeping. My cat is sleeping, right? Is it my cat is or is it sleeping? My cat is sleeping. All right, so we're going to choose cat, right? Because cat names an animal. So if you have that, then well done. The rabbit hopped away. So is it the rabbit hopped or away? The rabbit hopped away. All right, let's choose this one. All right, so we chose the incorrect one, right? Which means that the correct answer is rabbit, right? Which names an animal. So once again, if ever you make a mistake, remember it will take you back to the tutorial page and it will give you a description or an explanation of what either a noun is or whatever the specific lesson is about. And it will also give you the correct answer. Like, for example, the noun is a rabbit and it names an animal, right? So in this case, the rabbit hopped away, right? Which means that noun is a rabbit and it names an animal, right? So if you have that, then well done, well done. So that is it. You will do the rest of the answers, right? Where you identify nouns within a sentence, right? All right, so now that is just to recap before we end our lesson. We did the chapter of nouns, and then we also did the lesson on completing the sentences with a noun to match the different pictures, as well as identifying nouns within a sentence, right? And we said a noun, it names a person, a place, a thing, or an animal. Remember, and it's general, it doesn't specifically have to name the person by name. It can be girl, boy, and so on. So, grade ones, thank you very much for joining our class today. Thank you very much for being part of our lesson. I really hope that you do understand what a noun is now and how to identify it and how also to match it with a picture. So, thank you once again for joining our lesson. Have an amazing evening further. Goodbye.